to Running Things, the resilient spirit of a leader. Are you a leader? Do you know a leader? Like and share. Tell them to tune in. I have 15 minutes of inspiration for you leaders. So go ahead on like it. Go ahead on share it. Tell your followers to tune in that we have 15 minutes to be inspired. And we're inspiring leaders, whether you're a ministry leader, whether you're a business leader or a community leader, I want to inspire you. And we're coming out of the book, Running Things, the 52-week leadership devotional. So this is a devotional that you can write in and come up with some tips and strategies on how to become a better leader. And today our strategy is week number 21. And week number 21 is about advertising. Advertising. It's so funny. I remember my husband saying that you don't have to advertise in ministry. Yeah, this is the 21st century. You have to advertise everything. I don't know what movie it was. It was a movie back in the day that said, if you build it, they will come. And I feel like this, if you build it, they will come if you advertise it. So you have to advertise in some shape, form, or fashion. One of the ways to advertise is word of mouth. Word of mouth is still, hands down, the best way to advertise. Because word of mouth is me giving you a testimony about that ministry, about that business, about that community organization that I have experienced personally. So word of mouth is still the best way of advertising, even though we have all these different marketing platforms that we can market on. Word of mouth is still number one. Number one, why? Because you have a face, you have a voice, you have a personal story that's going along with that promotion for whatever it is that you're advertising. So always remember, word of mouth is still the best way to advertise. And what is advertising? According to the book, the quote that I have, it says, using persuasive words and images generally to sell products or services to a national market. That's advertising. So when you're advertising, you're persuasively influencing somebody to buy your product, buy your service, attend your event, come to your ministry, go to your conference, whatever it is, the advertising, you're persuasively inviting them to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing. So when it comes to advertising, you want to be creative with the visuals that you're using that's going to attract people to what it is. You know who has the stupidest commercials to me? Geico. You see those commercials and you be like, what does this have to do with anything? But it's effective, right? So Geico commercials are totally effective because you're like, okay, what does that have to do with anything? And one of my, was it a Geico commercial that the lady had the pictures on the wall and she said, was that Geico? She said, I'm going to remove you. So her and her friends was over there and she had some pictures on the wall and she was like, I'm going to unfriend you. And her friend was sitting there looking at her and she was like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. So she was like, she was going to unfriend her and she was just taking her picture off of the wall. So this has been some years ago. That was hilarious. And it was for Geico. It was an insurance commercial. It ain't had nothing to do with social media, nothing to do with photos, nothing to do with any of that. But you remember that commercial because it was so silly and it didn't even apply to the product that they were selling. So just being creative when it comes to your advertising is very important. So your business visual element, that's what advertising is. So when it comes to advertising, what you want to do is stand out from your competitors. You don't want to be into the bunch of doing everything that everybody else is doing or getting in line with what everybody else is already doing. You want to try to be a little more creative, a way that you can stand out from your competitors so you're not doing everything that everybody else is doing. And advertising costs money. We talked about way back, I think it was week number 18 with your marketing plan. Advertising is a part of your marketing plan. How are you going to advertise your business, your ministry, your products, your services, your organization? And in advertising it, the first thing that you have to do is do your research. Do your research, find out what's going on in the niche that you're in. There's nothing worse than sitting down with somebody and they have not done their due diligence. They have not done their research. So if you're going to be a part of it, just because you're gifted in that area, take the time out to research out what it is that you plan on advertising. Because there's nothing like somebody asking you a question about it, something simple and basic, and you don't know. So if that's going to be your industry, if that's what you're going to be marketing, if that's what you're going to be advertising, take the time out to do your research. And now we live in the information age, so there's no excuse. It's not like you have to go to the library and find all these books. You can just Google something. If you don't like to read, you can go on YouTube and pull up that thing and listen to a video about it. So there's no excuse for you not doing your due diligence so you can advertise properly for what it is that you're advertising. And then the next you want to find out with advertising, understand the buyer's process. So the buyer's process, and I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but the buyer's process, a little nugget about it, they say that a buyer has to be exposed to your brand at least 8 to 10 times before they consider purchasing it. So a buyer, I have to see your logo, I have to pick up something that you have. So 8 to 10 times for it to be in my psyche before I consider buying it. That's only when it just comes to regular advertising. Word of mouth, they're 50 times more likely to do business with you. So you see how important word of mouth is? So the buyer's process, understand the buyer's process. How do they go about that? Next, know your target audience. We talked about that in branding. Know your target audience, know who you're going after, know what they like, know where they hang out, know what they read, know what social media platforms that they're on, where they hang out on social media and where they hang out in real life so you can advertise to them. That all circles back to do your research, do your due diligence. Connect on the social media platforms as it relates to advertising so you can get a return on your investment, so you can get an ROI. So now they have all the different ads that you can purchase, and then on the social media, they have metrics to let you know how that's doing. I kind of mentioned that in one of my other videos. But for the advertising, that's important for you. And then leverage the social media platforms. From my understanding, if you're on Facebook, you can also link your Instagram account. And then that way, when you post on Instagram, it also posts on Facebook. When you post on Facebook, it also posts on Instagram. Same thing with, if I'm not mistaken, Twitter and LinkedIn. So if you're on Twitter and LinkedIn, whatever you post on Twitter will also go on LinkedIn. Whatever you post on LinkedIn will also go on Twitter. So you want to throw your net out so your target market can know what you're doing. So as you're advertising, it's important to know who your target market is, and it's important to integrate all those marketing channels so you can be more productive. And then the last point about marketing is create your own email list. I cannot say this enough. Create your own email list. Just think about this. God forbid if it was to happen. But just think about if social media shut down. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all those many other TikToks and this and that. What if they all shut down? How would you be able to communicate with your market? I'm waiting. Put it in the chat. A lot of us, I'm guilty too, I'm just starting to create my email list. A lot of us will lose our market because we don't personally own that information on Facebook. We don't personally own the information on Twitter or any other social media platform. So as we're advertising on those platforms, I just had a thought about, it's a documentary called The Social Dilemma. If you have not watched it, please watch it, because it was just so disturbing to me to know that we are the commodity that's being sold on those social media platforms. So do me a favor, watch The Social Dilemma, and we're gonna circle back and have a conversation about that. But with that being said, if they were to shut down, some of us would not have access to our target market. Some of us would not have access to promote our businesses and stuff like that. So whatever you need to do to gather your own personal email list, I would behoove you, I would encourage you, I would suggest that you start doing that now. start creating your own personal list so you can communicate with your target market, your customers, personally on the back end. Whether it's sending them an email, whether it's creating a MailChimp, whether it's creating an InfoCart, or all those other platforms which you can communicate with your target market, your customers, personally yourself, not always going through the social media channel. And then with that being said, with the advertising on your messenger, your business messenger, you can put something in there that's going to help you to collect that information that you need. So you need to be able to collect that data, their name and their email address. Nowadays, they're even, asking for the phone number so you can send them text messages. A lot of people are not doing a lot of snail mail right now, but you need your customers' names, you need their email addresses, and you need their phone numbers. Hopefully y'all learned something about advertising today. Hopefully you learned something about advertising. And so just a quick review. I keep on kicking this talk on camera. A quick review. Advertising is persuasively influencing customers to buy your product or your service, attend your events, come to your ministry, go to your organization, whatever it is. That's what advertising is. So this is week 21. We're talking about advertising. One, you need to do your research. Do your research about your genre, whatever it is that you're advertising. Two, understand the buyer's process. Understand what the buyer goes through before they spend some money with you. And we talked about word of mouth being the #1 form of advertising, when somebody tells somebody to go do business with you. Know your target market. We went over that earlier. The social media platforms, leveraging your social media platforms that you connect them all together. And lastly, but not least, get your own email list. Create your own email list so you can have access to your clients at any given time via email, via text. All right? Hopefully y'all learned something today. I always enjoy coming on here for these 15 minutes to inspire you to be the best you that you can possibly be as a leader. And whether you're leading a ministry, whether you're leading a business, or whether you're leading a community organization. I'm your host, Super T, also known as Pastor T, and I am supertinspires.me. And I appreciate you guys tuning in. Look forward to talking to you next week at 2 o'clock. Have a great day. Bye-bye.